Once, in a quiet and secluded village located in the deepest forest, there was a house about which there were dark legends. The locals never dared to approach it because they believed that spirits and ghosts lived in it. No one knew exactly what was going on inside, and this mystery attracted the curiosity of some brave researchers. One of these researchers was Jonathan. He was a young and ambitious guy who was always attracted by riddles and unusual phenomena. After many stories about the house, he decided to go on a trip and explore it on his own. When Jonathan arrived in the village, he saw that the locals avoided even mentioning the house. He decided to approach the old shop where the oldest and wisest resident of the village, Grandfather Albert, lived. Grandfather Albert was a famous storyteller and knew all the legends associated with the house. Jonathan walked up to the shop and saw an old man with white hair and deep wrinkles on his face. Grandpa Albert slowly raised his eyes and looked at him with interest. "Greetings, young man," Grandpa Albert said with a sad smile. "What brings you to our region?" "I came to explore that house," Jonathan replied, pointing to an old building that could be seen from the window of the shop. "I want to figure out what's going on inside." The old man frowned and slowly nodded his head. "Young man, I've heard a lot of stories about that house. There are things going on there that it's better not to know about. Do you think you can handle it?" Jonathan looked at Grandpa Albert with determination in his eyes. "I'm not afraid of any secrets. I want to uncover the truth and help this village free itself from the curse, if it exists," Grandpa Albert sighed. "All right, young man. I see steadfastness and determination in you. If you still intend to explore the house, I will tell you the legend that is associated with it." He began to tell a story about a family that once lived in the house. They were happy and loving people, but one day something terrible happened. The sinister spirit appeared in the house, which began to manipulate their minds and inspire them with fear. The family gradually became engulfed in darkness. Their own demons became destructive. No one knows what really happened. Grandpa Albert finished his story. The family has disappeared, and an ominous silence reigns in the house. Some say that the spirits still dwell inside. Their souls are locked there forever. Jonathan thought for a moment and said, "I want to find out the truth. We need to do something to free the souls of the family and rid the house of the curse." Grandpa Albert nodded regretfully. "May God be with you, young man. If you decide to enter that house, be careful and don't give in to temptation. Evil is strong and cunning." Jonathan thanked Grandfather Albert for the warning and went to the house. As he approached the entrance, he felt a chill permeating his bones, but despite this, he walked through the door inside. The house was filled with darkness and silence. Jonathan walked through the corridors, shining the light of a flashlight. He heard strange noises, creaking floors and rustling, but he did not stop. His determination was stronger than his fear. Gradually, he ascended to the second floor, where the family's bedrooms were located. The rooms were abandoned and covered with dust. Jonathan felt the presence of something invisible that lurked in the shadows. He decided to start the investigation from his parents' room. There were pictures of a happy family hanging in the room, smiling against the background of antique furniture. Jonathan felt a piercing pain in his heart, realizing that their happiness had been stolen by evil. He continued his investigation and found an old note hidden inside a couch board. It read, "Beware of the darkness, it longs to take you." Jonathan was shaking with excitement. It was a warning, but he was determined to expose the evil. He realized that the curse of the house was much stronger than he had imagined. As he continued to explore the house, the strange phenomena became more and more intense. Objects began to move by themselves. The walls were filled with screams and whispers, and terrible visions of the past appeared in his dreams. Jonathan realized that the house was waking up and trying to take over his mind. But he didn't give up. He kept walking forward, deep into the darkness, hoping to figure out the mystery of this place. When he reached the basement, he found an overgrown and dark room. There was an old box in the corner that seemed to be something important. Jonathan walked over and opened it. Inside was an antique mirror with engraved symbols and an amulet. He grabbed the mirror and suddenly his reflection distorted, displaying a gloomy and fanatical face. He heard a sinister laugh and realized that it was the spirit that kept the secret of this house. Jonathan began to realize that the curse was inextricably linked to the mirror. His power was to reflect the dark sides of people, feeding on their fear and despair. Jonathan's heart was beating with fear, but he couldn't let evil win. With force, he threw the mirror to the floor, breaking it into thousands of pieces. At that moment, the curse of the house was dispelled and the darkness began to disappear. Having defeated evil, Jonathan left the house feeling relieved and at peace. He told the locals about his adventure, and they thanked him for freeing the village from fear and darkness, but the story of this house remained in the hearts of those who heard it. It reminded of the power of evil and that even in the darkest corners of the world, there is hope for a bright future.